They're not on yet. Oh yeah, no, it's going to be, you're going to bring some beautiful energy that's going to add to it. Hey, here's Christopher. Oh, too late. Louise is there. Others are coming. They probably screwed the time up, whatever. Hey, Mr. Christopher. Good morning.
It is indeed.
Good. It's rainy here.
Ah, that'll be because of the moisture.
That'll do it. Hey, Alyen.
Hello.
Morning. Hey, Louisa.
Hiya. It's raining here too.
Well, yeah.
Here also.
And it's raining here.
No kidding.
Oh.
It's raining around the globe.
So we've come in with moisture, rejuvenation, refreshing, and cleansing energy.
I like that. And we could all use some of that.
And the rain, like all water, is the blood of the mother.
Okay. Yeah. True.
That's my perspective.
No, I like it.
Yes.
It's that thing, it flows everywhere the same. It flows through it, starts from little things like springs and trickles into creeks, which is capillaries to veins to arteries to the whole blood pumping system, which is the ocean, which rejuvenates and puts air in the water.
It's the water cycle.
Yeah. So good morning, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good hello today and tomorrow.
In the lecture origin story, it's said, which I've shared before, but it's like our bones are made of rocks and trees. Our skin is made of soil. The blood in our bodies is made of water. The breath is made of the winds, and the heat of our bodies is given by the sun and the moon. And when we die, we return to them, and you kind of speak each one again.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Is that in writing somewhere?
I have written it somewhere. I can share it.
Yeah, if you would, that's great. I'd love to use. I love that.
Yes. And it sounds beautiful when you go back saying, and when we die, you know, our bones return to rock and trees. And yeah, it's very, I start every storytelling with that actually. And in the tradition also, when people begin storytelling or ceremonies, that is the first thing that they speak of.
I've never heard it. It's beautiful. I really like it. Whoops.
I'm really excited to hear and share, and I'm quite excited.
I like this one because it's a bit more social than the board meetings.
Yeah, right. Can we take a minute and just talk bylaws?
Gotta love it. Look, if I could hug you all right now, I would.
We were, yeah, you know, it's funny. Tanya and I were just talking about that. When you're here virtually, I start often I start out with, okay, we're not together, but let's take a minute and let's all hug each other. But it's just not the same.
Excuse me, I'm snuggling up. I've had a headache all day.
Oh. We can't hear Christopher. Chris.
I was saying I was looking at your painting, Louise. I love it with the rabbit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a hair, but yeah.
Yeah, here.
Bigger rabbit with longer ears. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming along. It's nearly there.
Beautiful energy with the hair.
It's new moon tomorrow.
Is it
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
in the morning?
And for us, in 3 hours, it's peak equinox.
Oh,
Oh,
amazing timing.
Yeah. Yep.
I think there is also some kind of alignment going on at the moment as well.
There's some planetary thing that's supposed to be intense. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't follow up. Whoops. There we go. Yeah.
I can feel the energies though. It's
Oh,
quite
me
intense.
too. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
Hello.
Hello.
And hi, Tanya. You missed the group hug. So you're officially hugged now.
Hugging back.
Lovely to see you.
You as well.
I guess we could just start talking, or yeah, I
Sure.
did do a prayer before we started. Yes, asking for guidance and protection. And yeah, I prayed because usually when I do artworks, I pray and I put prayers into the artworks. So, which is why also I wanted to kind of hear and receive from everybody. Because I went through my own process of like thinking, putting down, and things like that with the 5 elements. And I just feel somehow usually the image or the visual comes to me quite easily. And I had also spoken to many elders and shamans of the tribe regarding the same. But I think it's not formed still. And I just wanted to, yeah, I needed help to be able to put in and get in the right energies and the right intentions and into the artwork, and which is why I wanted everyone, I needed help.
I love
Good.
it. Yeah,
Yep.
so happy to be a part of that in whatever way.
Me too. Me too.
So what is your artwork? Could you give us a description of what you've got, where you're at?
Yes.
And is there any sense of direction, or is it still coming together?
There is a basic direction. Basically, I do know that I have to make a sacred space and an altar for the 5 elements using the artwork. And I mean, there are notes, but I can just share. I do see the inside, which is basically, I don't know, wait, I'll just try and put this in front, which is basically kind of like this. It's almost like a crown. It's almost like a thing where you can walk in and you have the elements moving like this into ether and coming out from ether. For me, the ether is the largest piece of the altar. And I don't know in which, because the elements need to flow without also clashing with each other. I can't have fire and water in the same flow. I need to have, like, say, earth and fire and water and wind maybe, and into ether. So I do know that, but I don't know exact position right now. But then suddenly there is this other vision that came, which is, there are 2 I have. One, there is a womb inside which the altar is, and it's made out of bamboo frame. I don't know the shape completely, but it's dome-like, it's seed pod-like, and it's quite large. So you enter this translucent, very womb-like, and I'll use textiles and veins and everything. So it's translucent, so you'll have natural light coming through. And then you enter the womb to access the altar. So there is that bit of it, but then there's also lately like the sacred grove, which was coming. So I'm not sure whether there are 3 trees, or 3 came very specifically outside, and the womb, and then inside it is the altar. So whoever enters it would basically have to open their shoes and enter the sacred space. I'm creating a sacred space So I don't know exactly. It's to honor the elements. It's also to reconnect and also to know that we're part of the elements and the elements are us, and is everything is connected in that sense. But it's almost, it's like I have to invoke the elements and the energy of the elements to be present there in the altar. So I don't know the right energy, I don't know the right vision fully right now, but it is a sacred space I will be creating.
So it's a physical space.
Yes, but energetically it's alive.
Yeah.
I could offer what's coming to mind for me if you're interested at the moment.
Yes.
As you talk about the womb, to me, that's where everything starts. It starts from the womb. And the one thing the womb has got is the waters of life. Like it's fluid. We're all born from fluid. We started from fluid, whether it's the womb or the life it first emerged in the oceans. And I would actually picture having a container on the ground, like something big, that anybody who comes into the space would have to take their shoes off and walk through the water, because this would be a tray with water, with islands of the elements within the womb, because in the womb, the waters of life, all these elements are brought together to form for us life in whatever
Yes.
shape, whether it's person, insect, animal. And somehow that walking through the water doesn't need to be massively deep, just enough that people are physically in touch with the experience of walking through this. Because you've got stuff coming from the ether, and then from the ether it comes through the womb into life. So you'd have the ether wherever you do, stuff coming from there into the womb, which is the tray, with the elements in the tray as they come together forming life, which would stream. You could have animals, insects, birds, people, fishes, whatever from there. But that
It
womb
sounds very
space,
beautiful.
yeah. But
It's possible
yeah,
to do also. Yes.
perfect. That's what's coming to me straight away.
Yes.
But yeah, that water, walking through the water, being part of that womb of life through, and have
Yes.
somehow have it so people could touch the elements.
So the altar bit is to be hung from the womb. So it will be kind of hung from the womb, but also I feel it has to be connected to the water and to each other, because it's
Yes.
not just one flow, it's all.
Yes.
So I need to think of that also.
Okay. So you've got floor space, you've got ceiling space, and you've got air space, which everything
Yes.
is hanging with, which is perfect in a way, because you've got that whole 3D space to play with.
Yes.
You know, and if you're walking through the fluids, you're with everything that fills all the space in between.
Yes. Yes.
Because you've got the water, you've got the air there immediately.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Yes. And I'm planning to also, if there's water in a section, then there will be like islands of patches of moss, which I really want to put into the ground also, so that you can
Yeah.
walk over moss also, and grass and mud. So I might just take out chunks of real mud and grass and moss and put those around also.
Yeah. And you could possibly have those sitting on rocks, so the moss and that doesn't absorb too much of the moisture. So as people walk on it, it has a dryness to it. I wouldn't
Yes.
use concrete pellets. I'd use
No.
natural rock to
Yes.
hold it out of the water.
Yes.
So you've got islands for people to walk on through the water. But I'd still like to see it with people having their feet in the water at some point.
Yes, I think as you enter this like this low height, like a tub, or like
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
The visual that came from me when you first described it and you showed the image was like flowing water all throughout, like from that womb, like all the way to the entrance on both sides. So I don't know. It was just a visual.
That I can represent by using fabric, because most of my
Yeah.
material is going to be fabric and bamboo frame. I really do want to use bamboo. So I think I can use fabric to do that.
Mhm. Mm.
Also, like the womb, because I think we're so disconnected from the elements that somewhere kind of going back to the womb to reconnect to the elements and knowing that they're part of everything.
Yeah, right. Well,
I did
It's
think
interesting.
about, sorry.
No, you go first.
I did think about like it's spoken before, like the personalities and the different forms of the elements, but also like Louisa had shared before, I did think about also like when water, to me, it's emotions. For me, like for example, fire is passion or warmth. And so I'm also looking at it from, I don't want to look at the elements only as like elements, and I do want to look at all the other things that the elements kind of represent to everything. So I did look at different things.
Yeah. It's interesting for me because this whole thing you're talking about is what she's been communicating to me over the last almost 6 to 12 months. This whole seeing everything together. And the one thing she's been showing me is that everything, all these elements actually breathe together. So having them all in the air and the waters of life is just, it's like somehow I feel what you're talking about. And I wish I could add more to it because it feels so vital and alive
yeah.
and important at this time. The aspect that she's been showing me, and I had untold meditation yesterday, is this breath, this one breath that everything breathes together. The water breathes it, the land breathes it, even the mountains have it. As much as the water flows through everything, it's the blood of everything. Even when the rain falls on the mountains here, it goes into the rock and it appears out of the rock somewhere. She flows through everything, literally, which is interesting. If you got really complicated, you could have all the elements with a little pipe coming through and a little like fish pump or something that pumps water from each of the elements, showing it that water flows through everything. Or you could do it with material or something.
Materials is possible.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
just dropping things out there but I feel that aliveness was there's like a heartbeat, which would be interesting if you could have a recording of a heartbeat in the background somewhere.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
God, what else? Yeah. See, it helps if I talk because this is just coming.
Yes.
Yeah, but that heartbeat. And it's interesting, her heartbeat is different to ours. Because if you feel your own rhythm, like I deal with this as a meditation usually. You feel the rhythm of your own breath and then your own heartbeat. And from there, reach through to Mother Earth and see if you can feel her rhythm. Is it the same or is it different? And then match her rhythm with your breath, with your heartbeat.
Yes.
And notice what happens to our connection in that moment.
Yes.
And the drum is often used to be the heartbeat of the earth.
Oh.
So maybe
Yeah.
using the drum with the heartbeat.
Perfect. Yeah. Because when you do it with the powwows like the ones that I've been at, they actually match the rhythm of the earth.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
that's powerful. That's an idea.
Yes. Because this is a small one in terms of the time is less, the exhibition, but how it came to me, in fact, a similar time frame, almost a year, 10 months or so. The installation's been calling me since that time, and it's been forming, though it's not fully there. But the thing is that not this one, but I will do another one where it has to be combined with ceremony and performance, but it's not really performance. So that is the next step of it not for this
Yeah.
one, I'll use the drum sound, but I would
Yeah.
be doing a ceremony
Yeah.
for the one that would happen later.
That's
Perfect.
nice.
I'd like to just pop a little something in a minute. So as you're talking, we took the fire element, just to go back to that, because you probably can't
Yes.
put fire in there, but what it represents also for me is not just heat, and passion. It's the spark that sets everything going. Now, whether that's a spark of a creation or imagination, or literally the spark that sets the fire, it's that instigator, and the way you could potentially put that in, if you're using fabric and this translucent womb-like, if there's any way you can have those, like those arc making machines, just have a little something that's creating an electric arc.
Oh,
Can
okay. Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, or there's those funny ball things you can touch that create arcs.
Oh, yes. Understood.
Because lightning is the natural way that fire
Oh,
manifests in the air, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those balls that when you touch and your hand rubs over and the sparks follow your hand.
Yes.
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 I don't know how, if that sort of works in anywhere.
Yeah. It's sort of
Yes,
hard to
that's-
say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking of keeping inside some sort of a flame, some incense or something,
Yes.
which would also represent fire. So I do want to put the elements in there other than the fabrics, which will represent the elements. So
Yeah.
I will have to think about all of that, because earth is doable, water is doable. Fire, if you use it in a more controllable and real form, especially for cleansing of space and all of that, I will need to put incense, for example, or light a flame or
Yeah.
something like that. But I don't know how I would do wind, and I don't think I need anything for ether, because ether's there. So yeah, wind, I don't know. I didn't think about wind.
Apart from you've got a wind generator above your head at the moment. Still.
Yes, 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 yes.
It's actually interesting because as you talk about wind, I've seen small things like little handheld fans. I almost want something with a very small motor, with a very small innocent plastic's not ideal, but that's what they're usually made of, fan, with different colored ribbons of the different colors of the elements.
Yes.
Just as a
Yes.
thought, or somehow,
Yes.
yeah, or whether you have the ribbons from elements, because I know somewhere in some tradition, the elements have colors,
Yes.
and just have those ribbons representing the elements with some small thing blowing air
Yes.
over them or something.
Yes, that's possible.
This is still a work in progress in my head. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a thing.
That's-
We don't want to have too many devices because it takes
No,
away
no,
from
no.
the elements itself.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm starting to think, yeah, it sounds good, but too many devices somehow. Don't
But
know.
it's nice
Maybe
to have, it's
Go,
nice
Jim.
it's nice to have a bunch of them to choose from. So this way,
Yes.
there's all these options, and then you choose which ones move you the most, I guess.
Yes. Also, I'd
Mm.
like not to use electricity as much as I can.
Good.
I don't know why, there's this thing. That's why when I thought fire, I thought this incense thing, and
Yeah.
so I want to see how I could use it in the way, say, our ancestors would have used it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe the fan is outside, but the kind of shaft of the wind comes in and you have either a chime or some feathers flying. I'd go more with something like that than actually put a gadget in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that feels better. Feels better not having machines in a lot of ways.
So
And the incense, it's a nice thing with the incense, it goes with a lot of traditions.
yes,
You could have incense, you could have sage
That's right.
somewhere as
Yes.
well.
yes.
Mhm.
And the thing also, like in terms of clarity, it's also because I'm creating a sacred space,
Mhm.
and I have to kind of invoke them, and I have to bring the right energy there. So that's something also I want to be careful and mindful of what I'm doing, because yes, it could be out of control, it could be disrespectful, not balanced, and
Yeah.
people are going to come in and receive
Mhm.
it. So I do want them to leave there feeling connected and feeling,
Yeah.
so I also want to be careful of how I use the elements.
Yeah. Which
Alyen,
takes out
That,
all
yeah,
motors.
yeah.
using the incense that covers both wind and fire.
Oh, that's true.
The
Yes.
smoke rises, smoke is
Yes.
can be
Yes.
referenced. So you've got both nicely in one thing
Oh,
there.
Yes. Yes. So we have all four then. That's good. And ether, I don't
Yeah.
really want to put anything for ether, because you can't really, I don't know. I don't want to define ether. Ether is everything. So
All and
I
nothing,
didn't
isn't
have,
it?
yes, and nothing. Yes.
yeah. The void.
Yes.
I just put up the seasons based on it and
Yeah.
and the colors.
Yes. I'm going to write
Perfect.
it down.
How does the Native American tradition work with fire, Jim? Because I get the feeling you've got knowledge of fire through there more than I have.
Yeah, I'm a water sign, but fire is where I function. That's the summer. Fire's the summer. That's the time of creation and procreation. That's when things are being lit up in the
Yep.
small circle, in the small medicine wheel. In the bigger medicine wheel, fire is phoenix and burning everything down to get ready to plant again. So
Ah, yeah. That's interesting.
Yes. It's quite interesting. Here they would use fire a lot for like cleansing,
mhm,
and yeah, for also showing the way, as
Yep.
lights and as these
Sure.
oil lamps and
Yeah.
things like that, and purification, a lot of purification by fire.
Oh yeah.
That
Yes.
sounds perfect. Sounds better than anything I suggested.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got incense, we've got oil lamps. This is perfect. And like you're saying, Louisa, those things combine both fire and air,
Mhm.
because isn't the smoke from tobacco used to represent the breath, Jim?
Used to represent, I'm sorry, what? The who?
Doesn't the smoke from tobacco, you're using the pipe, used to represent the breath?
The breast?
Breath, B-R-E-A-T-H.
Oh, breath. I'm sorry. I'm going, what? Yes, it is. And so when they smoke the pipe, the smoke goes up, and that's your breath taking the prayers up to Creator. Yes.
Oh,
And when we lay tobacco on the ground, that's putting into the earth element your prayers.
Oh,
And that's why if you listen to Native American, you often hear in the ceremonies, smoke above, tobacco on the ground. That's what they're talking. That's what they're
that
talking.
I didn't know.
Yeah. I use
This
it.
could,
I use it.
this could become a teaching session. What else can you
There
tell
you
us?
go. Yeah.
and I wanted to ask about, like, there are actual sacred sites, but when one is creating sacred space, then like I would like to know a little bit more about sacred space, because that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. Whenever I do something like this, and God knows I'm no artist at all, but I like to create sacred space for if there's a big ceremony or a big event. So if I have a sacred place near me, I go to it to connect in first. If not, I energetically go to some of the ones I know and gather the energy from them. And then
Okay.
that's what I bring back to start creating that. Okay, what did I hear? What did I see? What do I have to include? So it's kind of like an opening prayer, really, getting the space ready.
Mm.
I saw the space I'm supposed to go to.
Good, perfect. See,
Yeah,
it's already
it's
talking to you.
close by. Yeah, it's
Okay,
close by.
we're done. See you guys all later. It was great. Oh,
Bye.
bye. It's nearby. That's even better.
Yes, and it's what do you call, there are various forms, because in the Buddhist thing she would be called a Dakini.
Mm,
So there's a Dakini cave with a big tree
yeah.
that is close by, and somehow I always knew she was energetically connected to the institute and that location.
Ah,
So I have to go there.
yep.
And otherwise she would be just like a forest goddess.
Mm,
The Dakini will
mm,
probably tell you how
Yes,
to set up, how
Yeah.
she wants you to set up her sacred space. There's a
Yep.
reason why you're doing it there. So
yes,
I
mhm,
would absolutely involve her
yes,
and ask spirits of the land around you what they want.
Yep.
yes, yes,
You can set up if it's because you're creating a space physically anyway in your installation, but sacredly you can mark that any way you want. People don't necessarily have to see that, but you can give it a boundary, just set stone
yes,
so that you're creating an actual space. It is the prayers that you offer, it is what you're calling in, what you're asking to bless the work you're doing. So
Mm.
these are just, all the sort of generals that you would do in any space creating.
mhm,
And calling in the elements, you're calling in the directions, you're calling in all of the nature spirits. You are asking the tree beings around, the stone beings around, everything. You ask everything to be involved,
yes,
and ask for the blessings. And then you sort of, and you're asking your own helpers and your own spirits that work with you, and any of the ones in the area, as I said, especially the Dakini. She will probably tell you more precisely exactly what she wants.
yes, yes,
You can probably use some water to do a bit of blessing. You use your elements, you've got them. So go
yes,
around your space before it's open and bless it with
yes,
mhm,
elements.
yes,
I would suggest that when it's open to the public in the exhibition, that
yes,
like Christopher said about having the water to walk through, if there are elements of purification on their way through, so that maybe
yes,
they're walking through
mhm,
almost a smoke
Yeah.
screen of incense
Yep.
that's a cleansing incense. They're walking through the water, which is a cleansing water, so
Mhm.
that they've already had a level of purification before they go in. And obviously
yes,
you're probably leaving a note outside or something to say this is a sacred space.
yes, yes,
Yeah. Right.
And I think, that is, and you ask everything to hold that energy for you. You have a conversation with it. So you don't need to close it down. You close it down at the exhibition. And each
yes,
time you enter it, acknowledge who you are and who the space is and give it thanks. That's sort of
yes,
how I would treat a sacred
yes,
space. You're keeping it open. As Jim said, you're constantly acknowledging
Right.
that it is a sacred space.
Yeah.
yes,
Something I've been playing with. I haven't. Well, in a small way, I've done it with a few elders friends. Was to get a space ready using some of those elders in different places, and each one comes in. Like I'd be happy, I'd be honored to come in and share that native way, and then maybe someone else in a different way, just to help prepare it. And like Louisa said, you're opening it
yes,
and letting the place know it's going to stay open as long as your display is on or whatever.
yes.
That might be, that would make it global.
That would be very, very beautiful. And I have done a smaller space for an exhibition before, where I did open a space and somehow a portal opens there. And
Yes.
then I kept cleansing it throughout, and I know it. And I mean, I do that. And by the end of it, I did close it, and I did thank the space and everybody who was there. And somehow not funny, but I guess it's normal. It wouldn't allow certain people in for too long. They couldn't stay there.
Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That
Yes.
makes sense. I was thinking too, before Jim shared, I was thinking too that maybe you can at all times have somebody in that altar room anchoring it with prayer, somebody who can just be there.
I think I'll have to be there. I will have to be there.
That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
somebody in meditation or in prayer just to sort of hold the vibe and
Mhm.
Oh, and there are other friends and people, my aunt who saved me and who's also a shaman. So she's there. So in case we need to, and there are a few more, but her for sure, she would be amazing also to take over when I cannot do it. And I do keep juniper and pine, and I keep cleansing the space also, because there's so many people with so many energies that come in. So I do need to keep cleansing the space.
No, that's right. And you,
Yeah.
I'm sure, because I've found that many times too. Those who are not supposed to be there or are not in the right energy, they won't even be able to walk in.
No, they don't.
Right.
And they leave, or they leave.
And they leave. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It takes care of itself that way.
They'll be the ones that don't want to take their shoes off and walk through the water. So
That's
they
right.
go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of what
Yeah.
everything that Louise described is the way I tend to do it. The other thing that's been coming through recently is honoring, when you're looking at creating sacred space, I don't have any tradition. I just talk to nature. And
Yeah.
she's shown me that we're borrowing this space from her. So what we're acknowledging is the fact that nature exists in all space anyway. Like, we're inside her, we're in her atmosphere. The earth supports all of us, so her energy is already here. It's just most, or I won't say most, there's a percentage of humans haven't acknowledged that. Like, when I drive on the road, I acknowledge and I feel
Yep.
I'm going through this borrowed space. The space is hers, not mine. I don't take it for granted. So if you're looking at the energy, acknowledging that,
Yes.
we're borrowing the space from her. I never close anything down, because once I've acknowledged her, that's her right to be here.
Hmm.
It's just we haven't honored and acknowledged her, and that this is her space that she's lending to us, whether it's this building I'm in, the space.
Uh-oh. What happened? Hello? Hello, hello, hello.
Ask the deities and
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
They're cute. I like them. Most, yeah. Trying to think, is there anything?
It's like in
Sorry,
Yes.
I tend to close simply because you've asked. It's like part of the setting up of
Yes.
the space is that you're asking certain energies
Mhm.
to do a specific job,
Yep.
and closing is saying thank you for the job you've done,
Yes.
and we don't have to carry on anymore. It's
Yeah.
up to them to do, but they don't have to, because otherwise it's a bit like, I described it to someone the other day, so it's a bit like, well, you've invited me to this party and then you've walked out and left it. And
Yeah.
what are we to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carry on partying? Do we leave? When do we leave?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you are inviting in a lot of different entities and energies and things to work with you.
Yes.
So that's the only reason is I would close something that I've opened in that way. It's just
Yes.
giving it that. Yeah, and we're going now, but you can
Yep.
stay if you
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
that's how I was always trained too. And you can always reopen something if you wish. But it's like
Yeah.
if you're doing any healing work, you definitely want to close. You don't want the person hanging out there with
Yeah.
all this energy
Yes.
still hitting them.
Yes. Yes. I close them. Usually I close
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, me too.
And it takes a few days for it
Mhm.
to really close.
Yep.
But it's
Yeah.
definitely like a vortex.
Yeah.
if you leave it open, then it won't detach itself from you either. You've got to go
Correct.
off
Oh,
and do
yes.
your own work.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You haven't actually shut it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I like Alyen's. It's like a vortex. So now we got this covered, guy. You do it over there, Alyen, and we'll do something similar to each of our places, and then we could just walk through the vortex and visit each other.
That's actually something if you had the energies lent from the different countries.
Yep. Right.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting for me because when I look at, even though I talk about leaving things as they are, I'm just talking about the natural energy that exists in the space anyway. I'm not talking about bringing energies in. But I agree with all of you guys, when you're doing healing and stuff like that, there's a point you start and there's a point that healing's over. It's not needed anymore. You know, most energies, there is a start and a finish of its journey for whatever purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is what I don't know clearly right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more to that. Yeah, there is an opening and closing, they're saying. I'm not sure what that is. One of the interesting things they're showing me, and it's interesting because it's like some little nature spirits, they're showing me a cup and they're offering me a cup of water for some reason. And they're saying external, internal. So we've got the water that people walk through. If there was a small cup, like a disposable little paper cup, you get ones that are about thimble high. And just so people could take some water in that you might have blessed or done something with or got from a sacred site.
Yes.
So they're experienced,
Yes.
or had it blessed or whatever feels appropriate. Talk to
Yeah.
Jim.
The takeaway, that's a pretty good idea.
Yes.
We just went to the, I like that, Christopher. We just went to the Shambhala, did I say it right? Yeah.
Yes.
Dissolution ceremony the other day, and we all got a little bit of the sand. So yeah, so it's here to use in the 4 directions of my house. So that's a possibility.
Yes.
Mm.
There's always, after ceremonies also, there is the water that's sprayed on where they do mix a lot of other things inside it.
Yeah.
And then they do give it to everyone as
Okay.
everyone's
Okay.
leaving. It's almost like in Hindi and Hinduism, it's prasad, is kind of taking the prayers and that with you in your being, basically.
Okay.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's why I like that.
What's coming to me is, you said inside and outside. So the elements as healing. That's what's coming to me right now. Elements as healing and reconnection for sure. But healing is a very big one that's coming to me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard the original meaning of the word healing?
No.
To make whole. Like a lot of people I find have the concept of healing is about you've got somebody with something wrong. No, there's nothing wrong. It's just not flowing as well as it could. So we're just bringing it back to wholeness, into alignment.
When you have somebody who has something wrong and you're taking away the pain, that's curing a symptom. That you're right. That's not healing.
Yeah. If you start with an image that's less than whole, then you're bringing a less than whole image into it. So when I worked anyway, I'm just realigning or acknowledging or bringing back to consciousness the wholeness that already exists.
Yes. Yes.
Which is the same with the earth for me. She's already whole. She's got it all sus. We just haven't been listening to her. So all we're doing as reopening our senses to listening to her. Oh, that's interesting. How could you get people to experience sensually through the senses? Ah,
We have sound already. We have
yeah.
water already.
Yeah.
We have smell because of the incense. And
Yeah,
what
and if you-
taste, because you're going to be drinking something, you're going to be tasting it also.
Yes. Yeah. We've got the tactile senses involved. Perfect. I like the
me,
idea of,
yes.
yeah, carry on.
For
I was
me,
going to say,
when for me, when I was thinking for water initially, and it was a very strong call, the water for me was very much to do with emotions and flow and release. So I'm sure that water, what I need to do with water is the emotions and the kind of I don't know, release, like tears. I mean, it doesn't have to mean that you have to make people cry, but there was something about the flow and release when I thought of water.
I'm sort of coming back with that one to what you were talking about, Jim, how you described fire. And I take it you could describe all the elements in that way. And maybe sharing that. So, Alyen, if you had it, I don't know whether you'd have it as a written thing that people could read or take away the elements.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah, talk to Jim.
What you just said about the emotion, maybe it's not you make them cry, but they may automatically anyway when they enter. Like sometimes I find with sacred sites like that, we went to Golden Temple in India, and as we were approaching the innermost part, I was crying and I looked around, everybody else was crying. It just happened. Like I think there's just this release that happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was also saying, because it's like for water and what I ask of water specifically also is something that is an intention. So like with water, somehow the call for me is release, flow, and emotions. So similarly with each element, there is something that I would ask of them, or would ask of them to do and help in which way they feel they would like to help. So I'm not sure of it right now, but yeah.
From water to flow, wind to cleanse, earth to nourish, fire to warm.
That sounds so beautiful.
Does.
That sounds beautiful.
I won't take responsibility for that. They just told me.
Yes, it feels right. It feels right in the heart. Yes.
If I listen to them, it comes right.
Yep.
So there's another thing.
Yeah.
There's another thing which is maybe related, maybe not, but there generally is related.
Hey, buddy.
In dream, I've been connecting to water like a lot for a while. And yesterday I saw a dream of 6 indigenous elderly women in a canoe in a very narrow part of the water body. And I'm on the bank, and they're about to kind of go into the larger water body. And they're in white. I don't know which tribe they're from. I couldn't figure from the clothes. V-neck, hand-woven band, some feathers. And they were older elders. And from the canoe, and I'm on the bank, and it was an old photograph that I saw in the dream. And I was in the foreground on the bank. And from the canoe and them came a transparent cord with white feathers, with small black markings, very light, very soft, big feathers in intervals, equal intervals. And I was holding the cord up. Basically, I saw that yesterday.
What did it feel like to you? What were your feelings with it? No, from it.
From it, yeah.
Responsibility, but without stress. Also their blessings,
Mm,
Mhm.
and kind of like passing on, because it
Yep.
was, yeah, something was being passed on to me.
Mm.
how's that feel?
Little scary because it's a big responsibility.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did you
But
get a,
also, yes.
yeah. Do you get a feeling if it feels appropriate? Yeah, you almost need to answer that, but we're going to say about responsibility. But I get a feeling at some point, if it feels appropriate, you could talk to the women in the boat, just
Oh,
being in that space,
yes.
and you feel,
Yes.
or even just feel them. Do you feel they have something to share, either
That's good.
individually, collectively?
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Oh,
that.
they're just blessing me and saying that you will carry forth reverence and love, and we are with you always. Oh,
Yeah.
so much love, so much love. Oh,
Mhm.
oof.
That's
And I
that's
get,
what I wanted to say. That the cords, you holding them with the feathers on, it seemed to me like no, they are with you, so they are channeling everything you need.
Yes.
You're receiving, and it's that link with the ancestors as well, isn't it? That's one of your
Yes.
things that you want to do.
Mm.
Yes.
You feel
Mm.
that it's overwhelming, the responsibility's too heavy. As Christopher says, return to them and talk to them, because actually they're not asking you to share it, to
Mhm.
wear it on your own, because there's a cord attached. You are simply their way of arriving at land, at ground, at this world.
Oh, thank you. Because I thought they were going somewhere, but they're actually coming in. Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's really good.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh, oh, oh my
I,
God. It's crazy.
yeah, I, I get the feeling that the boat is symbolic of something, and the
Yep.
water feels like more than water. It's once symbolic, but something else. But I get the feeling if you feel it, your feelings will give you what it's about for you, because it's your dream. Your consciousness is already connected, or is already there, they're saying. So you can feel what the water is about, and then the boat.
It's so subtle. It's like a lot of
Yes.
emotions, knowledge, wisdom, experiences. That's the water. What the boat does is it makes it more solid for me to receive. And then the cord and the feathers bring it in with gentleness.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I want this dream. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. This is such a pleasure to share.
it is.
I actually feel blessed by you sharing and telling this story.
Thank you. There's another water one with a sacred grove, and there's an old ruin, and the water spoke to me, and there was a shaman there who was helping me speak to the water. It was animated. It spoke to me. He. This water was a he. He spoke to me.
Mm.
What did he say? Was it in words or was it in feelings? Or
I saw this a while back, so I'll
Yeah.
just try and like reconnect to that dream.
Hmm.
Waters of the world will speak to you. Waters will speak to you. It's also, don't be overwhelmed and don't be afraid. And then the shaman helped me calm down and said that if you do not know how to talk to water, call on to me. I will help you speak with water.
Cool. And getting a strong sense of flow with the water, whatever it is, whether it's knowledge, wisdom, feelings, but you're already doing that with reaching into the dreams and feeling the flow from the dream to you, what they're conveying. You felt the water with the canoe in it, having that communication there. But yeah, it feels what you're saying about him. Yeah, talk to him.
Yes, yes.
Everything
He's
speaks
animated.
to us. Yeah,
He moves,
everything
he
speaks to
moves.
us. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the thing I get. Everything speaks to us. It's just us learning to listen. So you're learning, you're being shown, you've got your own guide. What did you call him? Elder, or what did you call the gentleman?
He was a shaman. He was a shaman.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got your own shaman, your own guide to talk to. He'll guide you. But yeah, you're already picking stuff up as well.
Yes.
Use everything.
Yes.
Or
But
if
I've been able to connect to water and I've been able to connect to earth. I feel ether, yes, because of ancestors and ether. Fire and wind is something I have not completely. Yeah, that's something. There are beings who I haven't fully understood how to listen to.
So when you want to connect in with fire, apart from obviously staring into some flames, whenever you do artwork, whenever you are creating anything, you can connect into fire then.
Okay.
Every act of creation
Okay.
is an act of fire.
Okay. Okay. Because like the earth deities, they speak, and sometimes I can hear like trees and plants, but it's mostly the deities that I can speak to. And water speaks, and there are water deities like the water dragon and the snake of the water. So that I can, but that's what I was saying. So fire and wind, I've not connected to fire or wind.
Oh, wind. When you experience wind, do you feel it striking your body and then moving around it? Or do you open up to it and feel it like it actually flows through you?
I haven't flowing through me. I haven't done it. I can feel, but it's still I'm blocking its path.
Okay, if you let go of that block, do you get a sense that it can actually, its energy, whether it's physical, whether it can flow through you then, once we release that block?
Okay, I haven't tried, but I think I need to do that.
And as it flows through you, what do you feel? Because even your breath, do you let it blow around your hand, or do you feel it flow through your hand? The same as it is in our lungs. When it flows in and through us, how does our body feel with it flowing through us? Because it comes from the lungs to the heart, to the bloodstream, to the cells. Every cell gets it. And we all know that if you cut the blood flow off, it turns purple. Everything in us is breathing this air. How does it feel? you know, you've got it
Yes.
inside you. It's everywhere the same, outside and inside. All these elements, this is, yeah, they're making a point of this one. Everything is outside and inside. They're really, it's only the thinking brain that separates. So how does
I
it
think
feel?
I haven't deeply sat with that. It's like when
Yeah.
the breath is going in and out during meditation, that's the only time. But I haven't really sat with it. So I think like I definitely need to do many meditations to connect with the elements.
Perfect. How's that feel?
I think I have to listen and really observe more.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that feels perfect. You know, when somebody listens to you, you feel open to talking. But if somebody doesn't show interest in really listening to us, we don't talk to them, we don't communicate. And as you say, if you're sitting and listening, you get that sense that, yeah, it's inviting them in that communication. Well, I just feel it flows when you're listening. Yeah, when we're listening. Even sound, if you've got a speaker, people could feel sound through vibration. Interesting.
So now it's
Imagine,
clear the trees are not necessary, or the tree is not necessary. I need just the womb. I
Yeah.
just need the womb
Yeah.
and the altar inside. No noise, no extra stuff. Yes.
Mhm.
yeah, perfect.
Mhm.
They've shown me a location of the space also already.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
as you
I'll
were,
go see it.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I was just tuning in, and I was getting keep it simple.
Yes.
The power is in its simplicity. Mm.
Then they're telling me it won't, like I'll be making many more as I
Mhm.
go along. And that
Mhm.
this is in a way what they had shown me in before, how art and prayer and ceremony would merge into one. So yes, it's getting more complex.
Mhm.
Well, the actual creation of your womb, your whole installation, is an act of ceremony anyway.
That's right. It is. You're right. Mhm.
So it will be a sacred place by the time you're finished, because you'd have
Yes,
created it
Mhm.
as one.
yes. And I pray through it, usually through creation,
Mhm.
beginning, through, and after also. So yeah, I think I'm taking the pressure of the responsibility too much. I think I just gotta feel it in, and I
Yep.
just gotta trust it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But there's things also like protection. I do need to ask them for protection, because generally when you have a very high energy space, there are other curious entities that kind of hover around.
Yep.
Ask the Dakini if that's where you have it locally.
Yes.
She will probably do that anyway, but she'd certainly tell you what to call in.
Mhm.
Yes.
One of the things I look at, and this is going to be really controversial, I don't use protection. Protection implies there's a less than going on, that something's vulnerable, which is an egoic state. If you go out of the ego into the moment and be in full alignment, nothing affects anything in that full alignment. You know, if something's whole, it is.
Mm.
There's no hierarchy. Protection is a hierarchical thing where something is above or below anything else. When you bring it all up at equal eye level, yeah, everything's just whole. And in that wholeness, there's no separation, therefore nothing to threat. But I still use whatever feels appropriate at whatever time, because sometimes there's something coming through that you do need to deal with. But I always keep that wholeness element as a strong center force. And I get lots of comments on that. You don't need protection. It's just acknowledgement. When nature feels acknowledged, fully present, fully heard, fully listened to, and what we fully align with her present or align with her, notice how she feels. And, you know, when we fully respond to her, how does she feel?
I don't know, I hear you, but I come from a different angle. I do put up protection around things. Not that one is above or below the other, but you do have the, you know, it's the story of the light wolf and the dark wolf. So I
Yeah.
want to be sure as I'm creating that I'm allowing the light wolf, the light to be there. And then whatever needs to leave can leave, but then I don't want darkness to come fill the emptiness. That's why I
Yeah.
use it.
I actually stick.
I would, you know, second that with Jim, really. You know, it's not about hierarchy or even actually ego, really. It's energy. If it gets stuck, it gets stagnant, it gets nasty, it's not pleasant, and it sticks on people and it does bad things. And yeah, okay, that's an opinion, but basically it sort of does, and it can make you ill psychologically, physically, mentally. So, and that's not it's not saying it's evil or anything. It's just when energy gets stuck, that's what it does. If it doesn't shift it, and that can happen in pools anywhere, you know, and where you've had pool, that can happen in built up areas, but it can happen naturally. So just on that level alone, you sort of do need to put up protection, because you've just got to have a filter so that you don't have any of that stale energy, for wonderful.
Which I come back to. This is the conversation I like that flows on from it. It's building that. And as you get humans wandering through, every human's going to have their baggage.
Yeah.
And you almost need to be cleansing it on a constant basis, like rebalancing it. To have what I say, you've got to have that constant rebalancing going when you've got other people coming through. Like I go into spaces, that, especially if I'm going into say a haunted house, I'm going and I've got everything going. I'm using everything, nothing held back. Because you've got to do that sometimes to rebalance things.
Right.
So you use all the tools in the toolbox because you're working with the energy with where it is, which is what you're saying, Louise. And everybody that walks through brings that energy in. You got to deal with it. But I'll always bring it back to a balance point, because to me, that's where it deserves to be left. But that's my end point. But there's all the processes available I'll use to get there. It's like talking to where a person's at, talking to an energy where it's at, working with it where it's at. And if it needs relighting or energizing or whatever it is, needs to be heard. If it's stagnant, needs to touch life the way it needs to be. So I use anything and everything. I've still got sage here. I use it. I've been taught with it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. We use juniper and pine.
Yeah.
And mugwort.
Mugwort. Ah.
Yes.
Ah,
Huh,
But mugwort with water.
okay.
interesting.
Yeah, it is. I don't,
Where do these come from?
Uh,
Are they from?
from around. They're from the area. And the
Interesting.
mugwort grows wild everywhere.
Mugwort,
Yeah.
a good herb for your cooking.
Yes.
mugwort, is it? I've
Yes.
never worked with it.
It's well, it grows here wild as
Yeah,
well, so we
right.
can make a smudge out of it instead of using your sage, which would be better. But as a dried chopped herb, it's lovely.
Uh-huh.
It goes great with tomatoes, and it's good for the tummy.
It's very good for the skin problems also.
Nice.
So you make a bath out of it with all
Uh-huh.
the juices and soak it, and then you can take a bath with it or soak your feet or whatever it is using mugwort.
Hmm.
But for a lot of ceremonies here in many tribes, there's always like water in a container, and then they dip it and they splash it around.
Mhm.
That sounds important.
Yeah, I'll have to explore mugwort. I don't know it.
Here in England, it's known as the witch's herb because it also, if you burn it, it also activates your sort of your vision. It gives you more clarity in your dreaming and your vision work.
Yes. You can keep it under the pillow.
Mhm.
I like it.
Mm.
Hmm. So it's in the daisy family. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's quite a big plant, and it's got a sort of like a silverine undershine on the leaf. So when it blows in the wind, it's sort of like you're looking at this sort of silvery plant.
Hmm.
It's lovely. I think it's beautiful. Little white flowers.
Eh, It has lovely smell also. When you
Yeah.
crush the leaves, it's got like a slightly minty, but not really, but that kind of a smell,
Yeah.
the one we have here. And they use like once the flowers become like seed pods, so the white stuff that comes out, that's also used for sacred ceremonies.
Ah.
To burn with like juniper and incense and things like that.
Good to know. Plant I love actually. You can also put it in your chai and make it a
Mm.
nice flavor in your milk.
Mhm.
Altar ceremony, sacred space. I will sit with this because I've been moving around a lot. So I now I
Yeah.
need to sit. I need to sit with this.
Well, thank you for inviting us to
Yeah. Yeah.
share in this. Being it's lovely. I look forward to seeing your posts about it once it's
Yes,
Hmm.
I'll share process and everything else. But
Nice.
somehow on a different like note, like this exhibition, something big, because there's like a Rinpoche who's coming, who'll be here. There's a Kandroma who'll be coming, who'll be here. There's another Tulku who's coming, who'll be here. And there are shamans coming. So it's just not an
Wow.
exhibition, it's something else. Something else is gonna
Okay.
happen.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Mm.
Ooh.
So when is the exhibition actually happening, Alyen?
27th, 28th, and 29th April.
April. Okay.
Do you know the name of the Rinpoche and the Kandro that's coming?
I call them Rinpochela and Kandroma and Tulkula, but I will get their names. The Tulku is Nawang. Nawang, his name is Nawang, but he is the how would you say, like the student of, or like he trained under Khyentse Rinpoche.
Right.
Yes, but the other one is more Vajrayana, the one who's coming, and
Well,
he's also has a shamanic background before he was a Rinpoche or with along with, and the Kandroma is also lecture, but yes, she's in Gantok, so they're all coming. They're all coming.
Wow. Nice.
What is the time? Okay, cool. Is there anything anybody feels like? Because I mean, I did ask and I got a lot of things, and I think I need to like really sit and connect.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And I think as you connect, you go through it, and the old teaching is take what you need and leave the rest behind. So good input, you'll know which pieces you need to use.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah, because as you're feeling with your dreams and other things you've shared, when you feel into them, your feelings are there.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's-
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
agree with Jim. You'll take what feels right and leave the rest,
Yep.
literally.
Somebody else will need it later.
Yes.
Sounds good. Are you complete then, Alyen?
It feels
Good.
complete for now. I need to
Okay.
soak it all in and listen and
Yep.
yes, and trust them.
Oh, yeah.
They'll tell me what to do.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
tell me what to do.
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really wanted to hear from everybody and I needed help. I
Good.
definitely needed help.
No, this is great. Yeah. Okay.
I
Love you
Okay.
all.
appreciate what everybody shared.
Yeah.
love you
Thank
all.
you.
Right.
Love you. Good night.
Love you all.
Thank you. Love you. It's been great to be here with you all for this.